Good afternoon, everybody. It's Reference Roundtable time. I always feel like, I don't know. I never quite know how to like just jump in.
It's just funny because we're sitting in silence beforehand, so it's very like
we're waiting and then we're on.
And not much changes before we are on.
So of course, we're back every week here to talk about library things. I'm Lacey. This is Michael and Sarah. Three amigos. I don't know. There's something cuter we can call ourselves, but this is something we do about every other month. We do a book club episode, just like it sounds. We all read a book and then we talk about it. And this was my choice this month. So we all read The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. It was a bestseller. I don't know when it came out, a couple years ago at least. She's kind of one of those people, like, I think everything she writes becomes a bestseller. She's written at least 3 or 4 books, I think, at this point.
Yeah,
like,
I had read others of hers, but not that one yet.
Like The Woman in Cabin 10, In a Dark Wood. Am I remembering that right?
I feel like
The It Girl. I know I read The It Girl. That was
I read that one. I forgot that was her.
That was pretty good.
she's like on the cusp of not being new anymore.
Yeah.
Like she's been around a little while.
She's a seasoned thriller writer.
So even if you haven't read this one, you might have read another one of hers just because she's been really popular. This one is definitely in like the thriller genre. It's one of those like, not necessarily a direct like mystery, but kind of like keeps you on the edge of your seat. What's going to happen?
Gothic.
Is somebody going to die? Or more people going to die?
Yeah.
Very gothic tone to it. It is. This is her 5th novel.
Oh,
It says on the inside, so she's got at least 5. I'm going to give you a really quick summary. It is the main character is basically like a caregiver nanny. She's worked in like nurseries before with little kids, and she sees this ad for a live-in nanny for this pretty fancy sounding couple. They live, kind of in the middle of nowhere. In Scotland, yes, and have a really fancy house. They're both in architecture, I believe, like architect, home design, and they have a very fancy smart house. Got all the bells and whistles. Everything's connected. You can run everything by apps, and they have 4 kids total, I guess, right? Because there's basically like a baby, 2 kind of like 3 to 7-year-olds, small, and then a teenager. And things happen.
Boy, do they.
And we're going to give spoilers, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
Spoiler alert.
It's hard, really, I think, to talk about a thriller, like, in depth without giving away some of that.
Yeah.
So
we're just going to do it.
The thing I need to talk about the most is the twist in this book.
So if you plan on reading this book and don't want anything given away, stop
maybe
now,
come back
read
later.
it, and come back later.
Yeah, you won't want to read it if
Otherwise,
you know the twist. I think it's
we
one of
will
those
give
books
it all away, and
you
it
wouldn't
will
want to know
ruin
the
it.
twist.
We will ruin it for you.
I'm just noticing, though, before we really dive in, they interviewed her on the first 50 pages. And she's right at the top of the bookmark.
Yep.
So if you listen to the library's podcast that our coworkers Jen and Kelsey produce, they have actually interviewed Ruth Ware. So
the podcast is called First 50 Pages, and you can find it anywhere you get podcasts.
Yes,
Any podcast
That's
app,
what the logo looks like.
or on the local NPR station's website, which is kwit.org, I believe, is their website.
I think I'm going to go listen to their interview with her after this. I'm curious.
So, I guess we'll just dive right in. Like I said, it's a thriller. It's got kind of a gothic feel, especially being kind of in this house that's very fancy, but also in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
The tone reminded me of Rebecca. Like that kind of like atmospheric, gothic, like, young adult woman kind of thrust into unfamiliar and isolating surroundings.
I want to start at the very beginning.
Yeah.
So it kind of starts, I liked the beginning actually a lot. It starts with our main character, Rowan, writing to basically a lawyer saying, hey, these people want to put me in jail forever because they think I killed this kid. Will you help me? So immediately you're like, what happened?
Well, yeah,
Right.
somebody died right away.
This kid, yeah, exactly. Somebody's dead, and that's unfortunately a child. I mean,
yeah.
so I actually really liked that part. But that was only like, I feel like the first like dozen pages or so. And then she begins to kind of tell her
Although
story.
dips in
throughout
and
she
out.
kind of
I guess there is a little
reverts
bit,
back
yeah.
to like she's still telling the story to the lawyer.
Yeah,
like the
there's
frame-
little bits.
Yeah.
the framing
sprinkled.
device.
She'll be
Yeah.
like, and this is what I'm trying to tell you, or something, you know. So it was
Towards
she did
the
kind of touch back.
And it kind of,
yeah.
I guess maybe, is it a frame if it doesn't really matter at the end? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
But anyway, sorry, you liked the tone of it.
Yes, and I was really excited by the first part of this book. Like, what I thought we were getting was sort of a haunted house story, but looking at smart houses, because we have all this smart technology now. That, you know, people have an Alexa, a Google Assistant in their home, and those can be kind of ghostly. And I thought maybe this was going to be like a ghost story, a haunted house story, where there's not necessarily a supernatural element, but it's actually like they're toying with her using the smart house technology. And it was going to be some like gothic reinvention type story
And it
with a modern
starts
twist.
off pretty spooky.
It
I
does.
think this is in the beginning. Obviously, she takes the job that we had mentioned in the summary of the book. She takes the job. She's like, hey, I really want to be your nanny. So like, hey, we're going to come here. We're going to have you, you know, meet the family, see if you fit in. And I don't remember which one of the girls, like, she's like leaving the house at the end of like her little stay
Yeah.
where she tested out. And the little girl's like, leave.
It's Maddie.
Well, and
Maddie.
doesn't the mom?
Yes,
doesn't,
that's right. It is Maddie.
Doesn't
yeah.
the mom say something at the beginning too? Like, I must tell you before you take this job. Like, we've had several nannies.
She tells her a lot
Short
of red
amount of
flags.
time.
There's a
so
lot of red flags.
I have to warn
even
you.
before she takes
Basically,
the
I
job.
can't remember exactly what
They've
she
had
said.
like 8 different nannies in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And she like, there's a lot of this character at the beginning of the book where I'm like, you need to ask better questions during your job interviews, and this is a good lesson to take from this book. Ask questions during a job
Also,
interview.
the father of her children or the father of the children that she's, you know,
Just a
nannying
creep.
is a creep, and she finds that out pretty much immediately.
Well, and she finds it out because they have her spend the night. Like,
Yeah.
she shows up for a job interview, and they're like, oh, I hope it's okay if you just sleep here. And she's like, oh, sure, why not? I don't want to ruffle any feathers. You should probably ruffle feathers if you're getting red flags. And then she also wants her to start right away, too.
Yeah.
Like, please, can you start, I don't know, like,
Right now.
this week? Because they're about to go on a trip, which she also doesn't mention
Oh, yeah.
until they leave, right?
yeah, and then
Yeah.
then I think she's like, and then they're supposed to be gone for like 3 days, but then they're like, oh, JK, we're gonna be gone for like 10.
Oh, and by the way, the teenager's coming home
Right.
from boarding school, so you actually have to like meet her
even-
on your own.
And so she's had like no like real orientation period to like ease into the relationship with these kids at all. And then it's like the parents are gone, but not really gone because the smart house allows them to see her and they can just start
Right.
talking to her.
There's cameras, you know, there's speakers, so they can like talk to her just, you know, wherever they are in the world.
I thought the creepiest thing in the book was that element, like because she does a really good job of explaining this technology and how sound, like it's not noticeable, like there's no click like you hear with an intercom before they start talking. It's just their voice out of the blue, and so it is like it started making me think of like technology that we already have is kind of creepy in that way, where I don't know.
I don't know how anybody in modern day would want a nanny anymore. Like, I don't know. It just sounds so intense.
Well,
like,
yeah, with
all
nanny
the
cams.
tech and like, yeah.
It is very intense. Okay, so it's even more intense when you have a poison garden on the grounds. When does that come
Forgot
in?
about that.
I feel like that comes in, like, you don't find out it's a poison garden.
Right.
She just knows that there's this like really overgrown part of the estate that like it's locked. There's like a gate around it. It's locked, but
And the little girls take her there and they're like, we love to go here all the time. And
so when we say poison garden, you find out because she looks into like old newspapers and things that the house belonged to basically a doctor. I
Yeah.
think. And he grew a garden full of poisonous plants that you can. Some of them are just, you know, like if they scratch you, you'll itch, you know, that kind of poison, like poison ivy. But some of them are straight up like hemlock that you could murder people with.
And he lost his daughter because she was poisoned by something in the garden, and it's never really explained whether he poisoned his daughter or if it was an accident. And that's
Well,
kind
because
of the
didn't
back.
like somebody cooked something with the plant?
Yeah,
and
like
fed it to her.
like it was a poison berry, and it got mixed in with like the other berries, and they were
Something
making
like that.
jam.
Yeah,
Which hazards.
there was a lot. Now, like I'm like, oh geez, I forgot about the garden.
It was, yeah, and I'm like, you are the nanny, and you're just letting these kids lead you wherever.
Well, because I think they were a little bit of contention. Like at the beginning, they weren't really like getting along, and then I think that was like kind of the spark that they were like, come and see our
like,
garden.
Yeah, like she thought she was being let in because Maddie hugs her when she tells her about the ghosts, but that's like really out of character for Maddie, who's
Yeah.
the oldest, who's
Of
not the
littles,
teenager.
yeah.
Like there, so the teenager comes in like the third act, kind of.
Yeah, she comes in
Yeah.
actually like after a lot of things have already happened.
Right. So for a while,
And then, I mean, you know, the baby really doesn't have much of a part either, just because it's a baby, so it's just kind of hanging out,
blah blah blah,
doing baby things.
Yeah.
another person for you to worry about, I suppose. But Maddie's really a wicked little child, kind of a bad seed kind of character.
She gives off the vibe that, you know, she'd be like the main character in like The Exorcist.
For sure.
You know?
Like I kind
She's
of,
got those kind of like, you know, like I'm watching you, you
and
know.
like she'll pull tricks on you that would actually hurt you. So she's, you know, not. It's weird because this is the thing about like scary content, scary movies, thrillers, where it's like a child. I don't know if I'm ever really afraid of a child. Knock on wood. I don't ever hope to meet a child who's really scary. But I'm always just kind of like, you are an adult.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
Or you're possessed by something.
right. I don't know. But these kids,
Not a child.
These kids are. No, I mean like.
Oh,
well,
like you are an adult.
like you are an
shouldn't be afraid
adult. Why are you
a
afraid of
child.
children?
Yeah.
Right?
Unless
But
they're possessed.
Also, you're right. Now that you say that, Maddie did kind of seem possessed. And okay,
Yeah.
speaking of possession, the whole deal with her room, like she's put in this.
This is Rowan's room.
Rowan's
the main
room.
character.
Who I kept visualizing as Chapel Rowan, just because that's such an obscure name that became really big all of a sudden last year. I feel like Rowan was a really hard to find name, and now it's not. So that's how I envision this main character. Random offshoot.
Whatever works for
Right,
you.
yeah, I guess. So in Roan's room, which she kind of is like, okay, maybe this is my only place of refuge. I mean, she knows there's cameras in the kids' rooms and stuff. So she's like, I hope.
How could you not trust? I
Right.
would assume that there was
They're
like
watching
cameras
you
somewhere
everywhere.
in my
Yeah.
room if I lived in this house.
But there's this one area, and this is where it's like locked room mystery kind of vibes, right? Where there's a door in her room that she can't open, and beyond the door, she was told it's the attic, right, or something like that, and she hears noises coming from there like every night, but she can't like go and check and see what it is. And do you think that's where the title comes from?
There were a lot of
There were a lot of like key
secret
things.
garden.
Well, 'cause they don't have
And
keys.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
you even have like the whole smart house. It's like,
yeah.
Yeah, they don't have keys on their
Vibe.
doors.
Right. There were a lot of different keys and
In the
things
garden.
locked and
Yeah.
so
That's another thing I really like. The poison garden, hearing things above her. There was a lot of red herrings in this book.
Yes.
That, you know, as they kind of reveal themselves, you're like, oh, is this gonna be something? Is this gonna reveal the what happened, the murderer? Another one that kind of turned out to be something like that is Jack Grant.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the
Caretaker?
that's probably the best word for it. He just kind of has a place at the house, although I do think he can kind of like come and go as he wants. He does have like a room at the house that's kind of like separate from the home. It's almost like above the garage, I think, is where he
Yeah.
stays. And he gets close to Rowan. And all throughout the thing, I was like, oh, maybe he's not who he says he was, or, you know. It's a thriller, so you're kind of distrusting everybody.
Right. He's always like conveniently there right after something happens.
And
I
he's
always
always
thought-
there to like soothe her, you know, when
Yes.
she's like, oh, I'm hearing stuff. He's the one that takes her upstairs.
He is because he has the key. He has.
Yeah.
He's the. they didn't give her very many keys,
Yeah.
but this Jack man
Because she
has
tells
all
him,
the
"Hey,
keys.
I'm hearing things about my room. They say there's nothing up there. Let's go up there." And he basically takes her up there.
What's the name of the so there's two other staff people besides Rowan. It's Jack and then there's the cook.
Jean?
the-
Was it Jean?
Jean,
Jean,
maybe?
was she's the cook, I believe.
And she only comes in the mornings or so.
Right?
I think that's her name. I
And
can't
she's
think
like she's really kind of a town gossip, it seems. Like
She's very judgy. of
very
Rowan.
judgy.
She's like, "Oh, you're the new one."
yeah, we'll see how long you last.
She's the one who'd be saying these things I'm saying, like, "Oh, you're afraid of children. Oh, you took them to the poison garden." Like she was kind of there to riddle her with doubt, and then Jack would come along and be like, "Oh, you're not so bad." So they were kind of bouncing back and forth between good. I don't know. I didn't know which one of them to trust more, and it's almost like I trusted the cook more because she was being negative. I don't know. It just could be negativity bias, but
I get that because sometimes, especially I think in thrillers, when somebody's like overly nice, like Jack, you kind
Yeah.
of almost instantly mistrust them.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you're trying to get on their good side. You're trying to like make them comfortable around you so you can murder them or whatever, you know.
And I was
There's
thinking
always
too,
that character.
like she really doesn't like these giant dogs they have in this house or whatever. And so he takes care of the dogs for her a lot. So I was like, oh, if the dogs are really familiar with him, they won't bark or make a bunch of ruckus if he tries to get into the house or something. So he could like, you know,
Maybe
they
he's
recognize
doing
him.
stuff.
Right.
You know,
Maybe he's
he's-
doing stuff.
He's making the noises or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The kids were interesting.
So, okay.
Like I said, it was really about the two middle
Yeah.
girls, Maddie and Ellie, right? I'm remembering that right. So Ellie's the youngest, and Maddie's of the, like I said, we're kind of ignoring the
middles.
teen and the baby because it's really about these two middle children,
Yeah.
Ellie and Maddie. And Maddie is the one that dies,
She is.
that is supposedly murdered. And I don't know
Yeah.
how
But
to
she's
talk
like
about
the
that even.
creepy one all throughout.
Yes.
Okay.
She's the one that's been giving Rowan a hard time, making things hard for her, you know, just really like towing the line.
I thought it was going to be the teenager, but you mentioned red herrings earlier. I think the teenage daughter, her entire character was a red herring.
Yes. Because she's like everything you'd think of is like a stereotypical like
Brat.
Sneaking out, drinking,
She's sneaking out, she's drinking, she's like
giving fake phone numbers, seeing
she's
boys.
basically telling the nanny, like, Rowan, like, you're not gonna stop me.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna do what
You're
I
not
want.
my mom. So I thought she was gonna get herself into some kind of trouble.
Yeah, I did too. I thought like she was gonna get like hurt or something.
Right.
Yeah. I honestly really thought for quite a while that the house was going to have something to do with the death.
Me
you know,
too.
like they had so
Yes.
she had so much emphasis on all these smart aspects of the house. I'm like, something's gonna go haywire with this technology, and that's how the kid's gonna die.
Right, like something was gonna
Yes.
malfunction and she was gonna get hurt or something as
Yeah.
like a
And I would have loved that twist where it's like all these gadgets that these parents installed to protect their kids end up being what kills
Yeah.
one of their kids and
Which
undoes
I was
everything.
kind of glad it wasn't that, just because I like it when it is not expected.
Oh.
And the whole time I was like, oh, it's probably the house.
And it's kind of funny, like in talking about this, it probably sounds like this is like a really long, drawn out book. It reads
No, it's really
It's
fast.
fast, yeah.
it reads so fast. You're always kind of learning like little bits.
Oh, I think
So
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always like
It goes
propelling
really
the
fast.
story forward. It
Yeah.
didn't take me any time to read this.
No, I think I read it in a day. Although, yeah, that was about a day. I'm trying to remember. Sorry, I had a sneeze on the cusp. I'm trying not to sneeze on everybody. So, sorry, a chew behind the locked room, behind the locked door. So Maddie's a Machiavellian, mischievous, just like I said, a wicked child, and she's the one who set up the scary stuff, right? Like she basically put a phone up there and made it like sound like somebody was walking around, and so this little
And again, using the technology, she'd like make the sounds come from wherever she wanted to, because again, there's speakers in this whole house.
right.
So you can play sounds wherever you want. And
So this girl's doing all this really manipulative kind of evil stuff. So by the time I found out she was the one who died, it was sad. But I was kind of like,
You're not as sad as you should be
Yeah.
when a child.
but it's kind of like she kind of
Yeah.
messed around and found out, like she was playing with fire.
Yeah.
I not celebrating the death of this fictional child by any means, but I did not think it was going to be her. If anything, I thought she would have something to do with why.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
to
for
say,
sure.
I thought so too.
Like she'd be messing with the technology too much, and it was gonna hurt Ellie, or the teenage daughter. So finding out it was Maddie was very like,
should we talk about the ending? Are
Go
you
for it.
ready to
I'm
talk
ready.
about the ending, Sarah?
I'm ready.
So this is one complaint I have before I talk about like the actual ending. The whole book is like we've brought up, like it's bringing up all these red herrings, these different characters, this poison garden, this smart house. I felt like the ending was like 2 pages, boom, done.
Yep.
yeah.
And I do not like that. Like I don't necessarily want I don't want there to be like a climax and then like another 300 pages.
Not
But
either.
it was very like, oh, here's 2 pages of very simple explanation. Be on your way. And I don't care for that. I wanted a little more like juice, a little more info.
And like a few red herrings here and there are great, right? That's part of like the genre. But
Yeah.
when we got to the end, I felt like the entire book was a red herring.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so mad at this twist. And Ruth Ware, if you're watching, I have a bone to pick with you with this ending.
All right. Why don't you tell them
I
what
didn't
happened?
mind it.
Tell them. Okay. You say what you, if you
So-
liked it, and then you say like the ending, kind of give a summary.
I didn't
of
mind
what
it.
happened.
You'll have to help me if I can't remember all of it, because like you said, the ending was just like, whoop, and
It
we're done.
really was.
It really was.
There was a
like
lot.
2
There was a lot.
pages.
So it turns out Rowan wasn't actually Rowan. She stole her roommate's identity, right?
So she basically had like a tiny amount, I think, of like child experience.
Yeah.
But her roommate had like
A lot.
The CV
Yeah.
to end all CVs, with a nanny.
Yeah.
Had all these anyway.
And she
all
went
these
on an
certificates.
extended trip, and Rowan
She was like in Europe and
was like, oh, well, not Rowan. What was her real name? I
Rachel?
don't remember. Rachel.
I think it was Rachel.
Yeah. Was like, well, I'll just be this person. But she had another purpose for that as well, because it turned out that the father of these children was actually
was a creep.
Who was a creep.
to her.
Like he
To-
tried
to
to harass
her.
her.
And
Yeah.
to all of the other nannies, apparently, and that's why they left. But it was her own father. And that's why she
Wanted to
she
be
was never
there.
not going to take this job if she could.
Yeah.
She did everything she could to get in and get the job, and she couldn't use her real name because this man would know that that was
Right.
his child. And
She kind of wanted to get close to her
Yeah.
her father, and then all these kids are her half
her siblings. Yeah.
Her necklace was the only thing she was like, he gave me this necklace and he'll see it and know. And
And it got hit. She hit it or something. I
right,
can't
that
even
didn't work
remember.
out for her.
Yeah. But yeah, but then I don't know what the little girls were plotting against these nannies, right? Because there was one nanny that he ended up running off with.
Right. They thought,
And
yeah.
They were basically worried that the nanny, whoever showed up as the nanny, was going to like steal their father,
Yeah.
away,
Yes.
basically, and run off with him.
yes. So then, I don't know. Ellie was the one that killed Maddie, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
But
So I think she was like 5-ish, killed Maddie, the very
her out the window.
impish 7-year-old, by pushing her out the window.
And why did she push her out the window too? Was it Maddie saying something? Like there's this really part so I listened to the audiobook for this, and there's this part where it's like Ellie's telling us what she did, and the
Yes.
narrator was reading it in like baby speak, and it was really like it was like nails on a chalkboard to me.
no.
It was like and then I saw my sister in the window, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna push my sister," and I was a bad little baby that day, and I was like, "Oh my!"
And you find this out because Rowan
Yeah.
/ Rachel's in jail,
yes.
and Ellie basically writes her like a little note
Uh-huh.
saying, you shouldn't be in jail. I
Whoopsie.
Killed Maddie.
Yeah.
And it was it just because she was like tired of Maddie trying to scare these nannies away?
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was just kind of like, she basically was like, her sister's a bad kid,
Yeah.
bad girl, and she's
Yeah.
like, it's not okay any
No,
longer.
no. So
And so it was a
yeah,
fall that
it was
killed her.
and all that happened in like the very at the very end. It was like, oh yeah, Not Rowan.
These are my sisters, and
These are
one of
my
them is
sisters.
dead.
One of them killed the other one.
And you're kind of, you're not really like, not everything's wrapped up at the end, but you're pretty much left assuming that Rowan/Rachel, the nanny, is going to take the fall for Ellie, this little girl that is her half sister. Because, you know, she could say all this, she could bring Ellie up and say, you know, she's the one that pushed her, but she's kind of decided that's her family now.
Yeah.
Even though Maddie's dead, Maddie was her half sister. Ellie's also her half sister. So she's basically seeming to take the rap.
Yeah.
It's just like a strange time to get loyal to people you just met, but
Well, and then I'm like, I mean, I'm reading a book. I'm not involved in this crime or anything like that. But in my head, I'm like, yeah, but Ellie's like 5. They're not going to send her to jail for like 100 years.
No.
I mean,
Even if she admitted to doing it. Like, I was like, you should just tell them.
she'd probably get therapy, which she needs anyway.
Right.
I'm like, because you're going to go to jail for like probably at least 40 years.
Well,
you know?
and like that's before like the age of reason and intent, right? So like they could be like, it's an accident.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
She didn't know what she was doing because she was 5. So she wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
And really, like, I feel like I'm stressing it so much, but this all happened in like 10 pages.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
Yeah,
like,
it really did.
given all of this. Like,
I was almost done with the story, right? When I suddenly we get to the part where it's like, I'm not Rowan, I'm the sister and the daughter, and this is my family. Da, da, da. If it wasn't like on my phone, which I need to use, I would have thrown it across the room. I was so, I actually like paused the audiobook and I think I swore. I was like, are you serious? I was so mad that she was a sister and related to them. I was like,
so I didn't like hate the book by any means.
No, I liked the book. I really liked
But
it
I
until
was
that point.
like disappointed.
I-
Disappointed by the end. I would say.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was a little anticlimactic. It was
Anticlimactic, yeah.
okay, there have been other books that have made me a lot more mad.
I wouldn't say it like put
Yeah.
me off of reading any of her other
No.
books though. Because I really did like the story really propelled forward. And
Yeah.
I mean, I read it till the very end. It kept me going.
Well, I like what you're like you were saying earlier. Like it's gothic and atmospheric, which we usually associate with some of these like slower burn reads, some like heavier, you know, longer books. But this maintained that kind of heavy atmosphere while also being like a light, breezy, enjoyable, entertaining read that we all
It almost felt like I described it like as like a beach thriller. Like like something you could read when you're on vacation.
Absolutely.
You know, it reads really fast. It kind of keeps you going, oh, what's going to happen next? So, I mean,
Like-
I didn't hate it. It just disappointed me a little
like
bit.
if you were on a bus tour of the Scottish Highlands and you're like, oh,
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it wasn't
You know,
bad. Wasn't the
you
worst
know.
thriller I've ever read.
Yeah.
Wasn't the best, but
Like I said, I think I might
glad
give
I
her
read
other
it.
ones, you know, a try.
yeah, I definitely, and I think maybe it's one of those things where it's like, you know, going to an M. Night Shyamalan movie that there's going to be like a wackadoodle twist at the very end. And so maybe if that's like kind of her MO and I go into her books knowing there's going to be some weird twist that pulls the rug out from under me at the very end, then I'll be more prepared or more apt to receive it well.
Yeah.
But I just felt like I had read a bunch of stuff for nothing at that point. I was like, what? Like, which that's what a red herring is, right?
Yeah.
But I was,
There was almost like too many red herrings.
yeah,
for
there
me.
was a lot.
it was like, what
Like
was
nothing
any
really
of that?
happened,
Well,
like
yeah.
with the poison
Well,
garden.
yeah, the
and I
garden
was
and that
like,
whole
dang, I
backstory.
wanted some,
Yeah.
some more, you know,
The whole
something
backstory
from
with
that.
the other kid dying and stuff. I'm like, oh,
Right.
the ghost story, but that kind of just
Or like if it had
dropped
been
off.
like a Ghost in the Machine kind of story, that would have been really cool. There was no real supernatural element
No,
in the end,
no,
which
it was all people.
it's really well constructed, a really well constructed supernatural atmosphere for a story with no ghost or haunting or anything. Like the technology is probably a little bit past where we are today, but there's nothing in this book that wouldn't exist in the real world, I don't think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we give it a rousing, like maybe give it a try.
Yeah. I would say. And definitely
And
her
like I
other
said,
books
and
too,
she's
for
got a
sure.
lot of
She's
them.
got
And
a lot of books.
I would definitely. The other one that I've read was the It Girl because you recommended
Yeah.
it, and I really enjoyed
Yeah,
that
that one was really good.
And I think they're all set in the UK, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like me and you enjoy a good UK set book,
Yeah.
give it a shot. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I read it. I've always been curious about her books because she's one of those authors where I feel like a lot of her covers look really similar, so I wouldn't have known where to start. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you chose one, and I just dove in that way.
Cool. All right.
well,
Well, we have
I'm gonna turn it over
we
to
have
you.
well
here
we
you go.
have the next pick is going to be mine, and since last time I kind of took a risk and we read something that I was not familiar
No
with,
risks this time.
and no risk. We're playing it safe.
You are. We'll see.
We're playing it safe. We are going to read The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This came out a few years ago.
that was
Yep.
another big
2020.
bestseller, I feel like.
I have read this book. It's been a while, so I'm going to reread it just so I'm brushed up on everything. But yeah, it was an excellent. I remember the main.
I think
plots,
it was a
but-
book club book.
Yeah. Was it a book
I
club book
think
for
when
us?
it came out.
Our open book club?
Well, it might
or-
have even been before
It
Michael
was
It
got
could have
before.
been.
It was before.
I
did
can't
book
remember
club.
now
'Cause
know
I feel like it
Good
was.
Morning America book club for sure, and it's got really high ratings on Goodreads. And I'll just read the little blurb. It says, "Twins, inseparable as children, ultimately choose to live in two very different worlds, one black and one white." So, but yeah, it's an excellent book, and I think we'll have a lot to talk about. And
I think it sounds good.
I read her
Yeah.
first novel, The Mothers, and I loved that book. I really, really liked
Good.
it. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to read this.
yeah, and I think it kind of spans over several decades. Yeah, 50s to the 90s. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
always cool. I like
Cool.
that when that's
And you
a
have plenty of
factor.
time to
Yes.
read that. We'll
It'll be
probably be doing it end of March,
March.
I think.
Yeah.
So you got a couple
so
months
plenty of time.
to check it
Yep,
out.
and we have plenty of copies, physical and on Libby, and
Absolutely.
ebooks, audiobooks. I think we even have an audio CD. So
Yeah.
plenty to go around. If you have read it before, you'll be able to chime in with us
sure.
Yeah.
in March and all that good stuff. So
I'm excited to read it.
yeah, I'm excited to
right.
revisit. So
Well, we'll have to get reading on that. Next week is February, which is crazy. So we'll definitely be back. We might be doing maybe a new book episode
Yeah.
if there's some new books that are coming in the
time's
meantime.
right, yeah.
But we'll definitely be back with something.
I do want to do what that you saying February reminded me. I want to do one little plug for downtown right now on our display fixture that's right inside the parking lot entrance on the west side. If you walk in, we have a blind date with a book display right now. So there are all these books wrapped up in paper bags with some little candy heart stickers on them, and we'll have those up throughout February. And I think some of our reference roundtable viewers could have some fun with that. You take them to the checkout desk and they'll check it out to you actually in the bag, so it stays a surprise until you take it home with you. So I know a lot of people like to do the blind date with the book. They see the table at Barnes and Noble with those as well. So you can do it for free.
I've never
here.
done that.
No, it makes me nervous. It's one of the things other people like, but for me, I don't know.
It's a little more risky when you're paying for it, I feel like, but at the library,
Yeah.
take home three
That's
of
true.
them.
Right.
And it's risk free.
Yeah,
That's
that
so
is-
true.
If you don't want to read any of them, bring them back and try some
Yeah,
more.
and if you grab 3 of them, chances are
You'll find
hopefully
something.
one of
Yeah.
them you would like. Yeah, so check
Why
them out.
not?
That's my February Happy Valentine's Day. We love kind of
Yeah.
plug for y'all.
All right. So yeah, thanks for being here. Maybe you're gonna read Ruth Ware, maybe not. I feel like we gave kind of mixed reviews, but I think she's worth giving a shot to.
I'd
So,
read her again.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
I would too.
It was entertaining, and that's the worst crime would be if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah. So have a good rest of your day, everybody, and we'll see you next Thursday. Bye-bye.
Bye.